Everyone doing? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. Let me know that you are in the comments. Let me know that you are here. Let me know what's going on. Great show tonight with the legend herself, Dena Cass. Any tacos? What y'all do today? What y'all do on this Tuesday? You know how we do. Might be here for myself for a little bit, but that's totally fine. Somebody's birthday is today. So happy birthday, Carletta, I believe it is. Okay. So, Jim might say we are definitely hoping that comes true, right? Definitely hoping. Shouts out to Cheyenne Valentino for Miss Continental. Miss Supreme Continental is coming up August the 17th, honoring Tasha Sheraton. She was the queen and she's also the national queen. So if you are interested in qualifying to go to Continental Plus in April of 2026, please don't hesitate to reach out to Cheyenne and or Tasha and see how you can get your ticket to go to Continental Plus. Listen, that prelim, I think that prelim is doing more than the nationals with the infinitive. JD consultation, all the bookings, Joshua Ponte consultation, interview lessons if you need it, booking. So listen, even if you just want to be the prelim queen, hit up Cheyenne, and she will definitely guide you to come into her prelim in August. She does not mind texting you all day about it, calling you all day about it, giving you all the information that you need. All-American Goddess. Midwest will be coming up January 11th. Anthony about that. I think he has a new owner with him. It's Pump News Network in Marte. So make sure that you all are on that. What else do we have coming up? Because I'm ready to talk to you. I'm just ready. So I'm not even going to do no long announcement. What else do we have coming up? This week. I don't think we have anything coming up this week. However, we are about 13 days away from the People's National Hall, Braxton and Otavia Delacroix. If you are in the Charlotte area, it's Concord, Carolina, Charlotte, Carolina. It is a new system. Y'all know that it's free and running first and the program is all love new systems that are trying to do things differently. I am competing for the Grand National Division, and if you need to assist me, you can hit me up in my team, cash out, Apple Pay, gas costs. So I will not turn down anything. So yeah, we're doing that. And what other person could you not see being the people's queen, right? Come on. And what else do we have coming up? So that's going to be August the 3rd, which is next Sunday. I don't know any other announcements. My co-host is not here. I know Miss Texas is coming up August the 22nd. I'll be there emceeing the red carpet. And then we have, I don't think we have any pageants. I'm sure there's a pageant this weekend. Y'all can't hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? She said we can't hear me. Can you hear me? Yes, no. Hello? Can you hear me? Music? Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So what didn't you hear? I said, People's is August the 3rd. Is it still loud? It should have been on pause. Okay. So People's is August the 3rd. Supreme is August the 17th. Gay Black Ohio is... So is it still loud? It should not be loud. Oh, she said it's still loud. Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now or... Okay, you can hear me now? August the 16th. Can you hear me now? Yes or no? Is the music still playing? Y'all are saying yes, but what are you saying yes to? Okay, you can't hear me. Okay. So, Supreme, August the 16th. People's, August the 3rd. January 11th, Midwest All-American Goddess. Okay, so we got all of that. And then this past weekend was, I think somebody said, how was Raquel's wedding? It was absolutely beautiful. Next Monday will be an exclusive interview with her and her husband. They asked me to interview them for their show that they have that's on like a YouTube show. So we're going to have a special Meet the Browns is what it's called because their last name is Brown. Ironically, that's my last name. But so we're going to do that and we'll announce that this week. We have a great entertainer next week that I know a lot of you will love. What else? So this weekend was Ebony International. So you know I was Miss Ebony International 17 years ago. And in between moving all of these years, I ended up losing my crown. And so Ebony replaced my crown this week, and it was so sweet. It's huge. It's upstairs in my closet, my dressing room. And so I am so excited about that, having that a part of it. I need to get my Black Continental crown replaced too. So P. Jasmine, if you're watching, I need that one because I lost that one too. But congratulations to the winners. So we have Miss Ebony International Plus was Malika Dickerson. Miss Ebony International is Chastity Ross Starr. Mr. Ebony International is Pierre Rossanti. Miss Ebony International newcomer is Raven Cassadine. And Mr. Ebony International newcomer is, I think it's Kaylin Starr. So, shouts out to those winners this weekend. We are so happy with that. It was a great pageant. Um, the numbers were low in the audience. It could have been a whole lot better, y'all, for support. So make sure that you are supporting these pageants that are happening because it's because of you. We need the audience in order to feel great about entertaining and stuff like that. So we talk about numbers being down in pageantry, but numbers are down in audience too. So please come out and support. It was $40 open bar. I mean, come on. You saw 5 divisions, 16, 17 contestants. It was really, really good. So shout out to the Ebony family. Thank you so much for my crown, Bambi, Ebony, and Broderick, aka June. It really means a lot. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say or anything else to announce. Trying to think. I don't think so. So all of the things that I talked about earlier, Supreme, Peoples, Gay Black Ohio, please go out and support them if you're in the area. Anything that we can do that may be coming up and you want us to announce it on Tuesdays, please let us know. We will do that. So yeah, I'm just excited about what's to come tonight. So, you know that we started this back in, you want to see the crown? Okay, I'll go get it for you. Hold on. I have to run upstairs. But isn't it nice, y'all? It's huge. It is so big. Like, wow. Beautiful, huh? And it's the brand new one. It's the ebony one. So nice. Like, I love a crown. Like, I would do a pageant. Well, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I would do a pageant just for the crown, but I'm not going to do that because there's some crowns that I do like, but I wouldn't do that pageant. If I don't see you at Continental, we'll definitely be. I won't be at Continental this year. That's my family reunion weekend. And I'm kind of upset that I won't be. Well, I don't care about necessarily being at Continental, but I'm kind of upset I won't be there because Flame had asked me to be on her show. And I love Flame. We have definitely did a 180, and I respect her so much, and I just hate that I can't be there. So hopefully she'll have me on her white show and Continental Plus week because I'll definitely be there, but I won't be at Continental this year. So again, Continental coming up, honoring ponytail season, Raquel Lord. So if you are able to go and support her, go there. But no, I won't be at Continental, but my give up is September 21st for Miss Duval Plus. All you 200 and plus ladies, if you're interested, entry fee is $75 off until August 1st. So please reach out to myself or Rick on how you can pay that. Myself, Rick, or Marissa. Presentation is any color from the trans exclusive flag, one color only. You can't do nude mesh that matches your skin tone. Sportswear or swimwear, talent, gown, question and answer. Registrations is $2. Right now, registration entry fee is $175, but after that, it's $250. So we have that going for you, and it's tentative and all of that. $1,500 to the winner, $750, $250. So make sure that you all are getting ready for that. But yeah, Continental can be you too. I'm sure someone is very sure of that. Some dreams or some things we aspire to be fade away. So other than that, yeah. So tune in next Monday for the Meet the Browns with Raquel. She's a entity of the community, and she want to talk about her love story, being a trans woman, being married to a trans man, and how that happened and stuff like that. And don't forget that Miss Pump News Network is doing a $100 best dressed for registration at Duval Plus. So girls, make sure you come decked and ready. Okay. So y'all, I had to run upstairs to get the crown. I'm out of breath. I guess what is the gym doing if I'm running out of breath? So, we started this January of 2024 during our reign as a Renaissance to talk to our legends and icons, right? And I've never met our guest. I've never met her in person. I've seen her one time, I believe it was at Continental some years ago. I think she had came back as a former. But I've never met her in person, but I've always heard about her. Like, oh, Dena Cass, the gowns and the gowns and the gowns. And so we became Facebook friends. And uh, during the time of the interviews, because what's so interesting is this time last year, we were interviewing Mimi. And I know she was a big one. She had a lot of people, and she inboxed me. She said, "Thank you so much for doing what you're doing with your interviews." I don't like to call them interviews, just the conversations, but interviews. I read pictures. So I was like, "Well, we want you on." She was like, "Girl, I don't know if you want me on because I'm gonna be telling the truth." Well, that's what we like. We like people to come and tell their truth and their story, whatever that may be. And so I had to get her in because we get so many traction of I want to come, I can only come this day, so we was trying to get her in. But I definitely wanted to get her in during a summer month. But y'all know Miss Dina lived in Florida, and we didn't know what was going on with the weather. So, and I want to talk to her about this because I don't think she realized she's such a comedian. When she would be in those storms, she would do her lives. And I didn't know to laugh at what she would say or to send help for her. But yes, I'm so excited. Like I said, I have never met her, but just knowing her and seeing her through social media, I just really do adore her. So this next hour will be dedicated to her, and I think that she is ready, guys, and she is. Let me tell you something. I love a guest that is prompt and on time, and Miss Dina was ready an hour and a half ago. So we are excited about that. So I'm going to bring on our guest, y'all. Make sure that you share this live. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comments. If you want to be anonymous, always inbox me. But we're going to bring on our legend. She is the one and only as.
Hey, how y'all
How are
doing?
you? I can hear
I'm
you.
good. How are you?
I am good. How's your day going?
Pretty good. My
Okay.
days are pretty boring, girl. I'm like a old lady. I don't do very much.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to first start off by saying thank you for giving me this hour of your time. I know that we talked to you a while ago about coming on, and I wanted to fit you in the right time, and this is perfect timing. So thank you for just being so receptive of wanting to come on and share your story.
I'm glad to. I'm excited about it.
Yes. So I think I want to start off with this question before we go into your background. When
Okay.
you hear your name, Dina Cass, sitting next to the word legendary, how does that make you feel?
Girl, I don't really I just feel like me. Like people always say, like I don't feel like I'm a boy or a girl. I feel like I'm me. I never have felt like a woman. I've never felt like a man.
Okay.
I'm just me, girl.
Okay.
I don't think I'm funny. I talk about shit that happens during the day, that happens in life, that happens to other people. Everyone else is funny to me. I'm
Mhm.
not funny at all. I think I'm boring as I really am a boring like I sit at home, watch Netflix. Girl, I don't do shit. I don't go out. I don't party. I don't do drugs. I'm too old. I'm scared I'd die. I mean, girl, so I'm a boring, I feel like I'm boring as hell, but
Mhm.
people are entertained. So I talk.
Well, let me be the first to tell you, you are not boring. You are definitely, definitely someone that we'd be like, what's she gonna say on these lives? So, and that's one of the things that got me so interested in you was your lives during the storms in Florida when you would go live. And I'm like, she is so funny, but I don't think this is a laughing matter. She's about to be
I don't.
washed
I
away.
just talk about what's happened. Like I see things, and I'll like, and things happen to me, and I'm like, a lot of times I'm like looking around for the camera because I'm like, bitch, there's a camera taping me. There's got to be. This don't happen to nobody else. This
You
shit.
have to. What's the show? You're being punked.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm on it half the time, and I'm looking all around, and I'll even tell people with me, bitch, don't say nothing because I know they are punking us.
Okay, gotcha. So take us back. Take us back to your upbringing, where you're from. Tell us about the journey of you as a child. What was life like up until you graduated high school?
Okay, I'm gonna try to tell it like so because a lot of people don't know this story.
Okay.
Um, my the easiest way to say it is my grandma had three daughters,
Okay.
and one of them happened to it was in the 60s, and she got pregnant very very young, and you didn't do that back then. So my grandma was going to adopt me, because she didn't want me. I was her first grandchild. She didn't want me to leave the family, but they would not. My grandpa wouldn't have it, so they worked it out where her sister adopted me, and then they did the switch and everything. Nobody knew. They just thought that was her child. Lo- Along through my childhood, like I used to get sent to my aunts in Missouri, and I'm like, and that's where like in Missouri is where all the people like yins and all that shit that I say, because I spent every summer in Missouri. So that's how they talk. It was in the woods of Missouri, like the hills, not St. Louis, but the hills.
Mhm.
And that's where I met all these people, and none of them had teeth, and none of, just it was like the backwoods. And so that's how they talk. Fuck yins and yins all get, and they just were. That's how they were. Very like Medea. They all were like that. So that's those people. When I do my characters and stuff, those are just people I've met before that were in my bringing up. So my aunt was really my mother, or she was really my aunt, but she raised me as my mother. I didn't find out till I was an adult. That's why I went. I had a brother and two sisters. I had a wonderful childhood. My mother and stepdad provided for me. I had a great relationship with my siblings. I had aunts, uncles, grandmas. I couldn't ask for a better childhood. I had friends. I was popular in high school. I was homecoming king. I was on the prom court. I was in every musical. I was class president. It could not have been any better. And then I always did musicals and plays. So I wanted to be an actor. That's what I wanted to do. And I saw John Candy. You know how he would do all those roles, women's, and he'd be funny. So I wanted to be another John Candy. I auditioned for like a traveling road show, and I got hired, and I left before I even graduated. I didn't even go to graduation because we had to leave the week before. And I traveled for 6 months doing that. And then when I came home, I auditioned for a musical, and I was cast, and they cast me as I auditioned for the male lead. They cast me as the female lead. They put me in drag. I knew nothing about drag. I didn't know what drag was. I came from a tiny, itty bitty little town. Tiny. I didn't know there was gay people. I knew that boys were cute to me and were hot, but I like dated a lesbian, so I could, try to fit in. And I kind of told my mom said, "Oh, it's a phase. Everybody thinks about that. You'll get over that." So I auditioned. I got in this play or this musical as a woman's role. That's where I met gay people because it was a theater. And I would go in, I would just sit in a chair. They would put me in drag, campy drag, and put me in a gown. And, I had all my costumes, and I just did the parts, sang, and, it was a comedy. And I finished that, and I immediately auditioned for another role as a man, and they cast me as a woman in that. Not even knowing that I had just. So I was like, I looked like, I guess I looked like a big old lesbian or whatever. I don't know. Because I didn't really look like a man. I was fat. When you're fat, kind of. So I did that play. I was Sweet Pea Meadowbrook in a Death by Chocolate. And during that, I met more gay people. They took me to a gay bar, and I saw drag. And I couldn't believe it. Because these were like real female impersonators. Like could not believe it. So they were talking to one of the gay guys knew. Her name was Dominique Sanchez, not the one that was Miss America, but she did like Miss USA and Miss America. She lived in St. Louis. She lived in Springfield, but she moved to St. Louis. But anyway, she had told him there was a pageant that was like in 2 weeks. It was Miss Valentine. And I was like, they said, "You're doing this pageant." I said, what's a pageant? They said, "Don't worry." So they went to the theater, and they got a sequin gown for me to wear for evening gown, put me all together. And there were 9 contestants, and I was second runner up. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I got a booking. Well, at that time, I didn't have no money, girl, and I didn't know what a booking was, so we grabbed some stuff from the theater center, and we went, and I did my little booking, made money, made tips. I was like, "Oh, this is nice. I can make money." They said, "There's this thing called Miss USA at Large. You should go do it." I said, "Oh, I don't know what that is." They said, "Come on, just do it." So I got a bunch of my friends. We put together a big dance number. That was a long time ago. Like, and in the 1990, where nobody was, big girls didn't dance.
Right.
I had went to St. Louis and I had saw Charity Case because they told me you got to do comedy. You have to do comedy. But I went and I saw Charity Case. I said, "Well, she's fat. Why don't she have to do comedy? She's got on beautiful stuff." So I went home. I said, "I'm going to be like her." So I started getting pretty clothes and stuff. And I went and I did Miss USA at Large. And there were 38 contestants. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had my makeup was in just a little tiny bag. I used my fingers to put my eyeshadow on. I didn't wear eyelashes. I didn't know what they were. So I just put like a little mascara on. Um, I didn't do liners or nothing, just put lipstick on. Like it took me 2 minutes to put my makeup on. And then I had boy hair and I would just tease up my boy hair. I was hideous, girl. But I got third runner up at
Wow.
Miss USA at Large. And I didn't know what I was doing. So then they said, "Well, you got to go to Miss Continental Plus. You got to go to, there's a Miss Continental. There's a Miss Continental." I didn't know what the hell that was. So I went to that. They said, "Oh, there's swimsuit." I said, "Oh," I didn't wear pantyhose or nothing. I wore a thong. I knew I was, girl, I knew I was cutting it. Didn't have a hip. Didn't have a hip. Was just a fat boy with no hip, no ass, and wore a thong. Looked a fool. And I was second runner up there. But I could dance. I had a little bit of talent. I could dance, and I took dancers and stuff. Well, on my way home from that Continental, I said, "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If I figure this out, these big hoes better look out. Because if I figure this out, I'm going to win all these." So then I decided that I just wanted to be Miss USA at Large. That's all I wanted to do. So I did Miss USA at Large 7 years in a row, 7 times. I was third runner up, fourth runner up, second runner up, third runner up, fourth runner up, first runner up, second runner up, and then I finally won. But it was kind of a different time back then. I'm not going to say pageants were rigged. They were very rigged. So we'll just take it like that. It was just a different time, and it was very political. And they didn't know who I was really, because I just lived in old farm town. They didn't know who I was. I wasn't a big name or nothing. But I wanted to be Miss USA at Large. And I said, if I win that, I'm not doing nothing else. I'm done. Because my boss had always said, if you win one of these, don't ever do another one, because then they can't crack you. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it. So I did Miss Continental Plus. I did Miss Iowa. I had went to Miss Continental Plus. I did 3 prelims to go to Miss Continental Plus, and I got first runner up at every single one of them. I got beat at every single one of them. Taji won. I was first runner up to her. Was first runner up to 2 other girls in Chicago. I couldn't win, so I was like, "Oh, they don't really like me." Well, somebody had bought Iowa Continental Plus, and I had won every single Miss Iowa. I've been Miss Iowa USA, Miss Iowa Continental, Miss Iowa USA at Large, Miss Iowa Official. Everything that was Miss Iowa, I won. So I was like, "Well, I need to win this Miss Iowa Continental Plus. I'm just going to do it, and I'll take the stuff from USA at Large. I won't spend any money. I'll go up there to Chicago, and I'll do it, and maybe I'll make the 10. So I did Tina Turner for Proud Mary for prelims. I just walked through it. I was 10th going into the top 10. And then I did my package from Miss USA at Large, and I won. And I didn't have nobody to help me. Marcus, Chelsea's husband, Marcus, was coming to help me, and he cut his hand on the door, and he had to go to the hospital. So I had no dresser. I had to have Pork Chop. I said, "Pork Chop, can you zip my dress?" I had nobody helping me. I had nobody.
Wow.
And I won.
Wow.
And I
So
didn't
let
have
me.
I didn't have a makeup person or a hair person. I just had to do it myself.
So
And
let me
most
let
of
me go back a little bit.
that.
You said let me go back to your childhood when you found out that your aunt was really your mom. How did that make you feel? Did you feel any type of way?
Well, I kind of was upset cuz I just thought they should have told me sooner.
Okay.
You know, because when I was a kid, like I said, I went to my aunt's I had a brother and two sisters, and they would ship me to my aunt's in Missouri. I didn't want to go. It was in the woods, hillbillies with snakes, and they had they had food, like the food out in the yards. What they ate, they had a garden, and they'd go out, and my aunt would grab a chicken, and she'd pull the head off, and that's what they would cook. It was mortifying being
Right.
down there. So I didn't
Okay.
know why I had to go. Well, I had to go because that was actually my mother.
Okay. Gotcha. And then you said because you had gotten the role in the musical that toured, you missed high school graduation. Do you ever kind of regret that you missed that monumental moment?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
I love being in high school. Like it was kind of devastating for me to be done with high school.
Okay.
Cuz high school was so good. It was like my whole life.
Okay.
And like I was like, and all my friends were going away to college. They all went to college. And I was just like, what am I going to do? Y'all are leaving, and I'm just sitting here looking at the wall.
Right.
So,
So your mom said that it was a phase that you were going through when you liked boys. So when you started doing dressing up in drag, when you audition as a boy and go back as a girl, did she know about any of that, or did she have anything to say?
well, we lived in Beardstown, which is, like I said, a tiny town. My
Mhm.
dad, who adopted me, he really wasn't my birth dad, but my dad was with my mom. They got divorced, and she got remarried. I moved in with him in Springfield, Illinois, because it was a bigger city where I could do theater and stuff. And I ended up winning a um, Vanna White lookalike contest.
Mm.
And I didn't look like her, but I was campy, and I had a sequin gown, and I did it all up. And the crowd lived. It was at a straight restaurant, and they did it every week. So every week I had to go there and be Vanna White, and they paid me. It was like $300 back, like in 1989. That's a lot. It was like a lot of money.
Right, right.
And my dad found my bag, and went completely ballistic. I got thrown out. I lived in my car for about 2 months. I
Oh.
had a Lincoln Continental, one of those big, huge, the boats. I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember, but they were huge. And I made the back, I made like a bed. That's where I slept. And
Wow.
then, like, I didn't have no, I would climb in the garbage cans at McDonald's and get food out of there. And then if you turn your car on and you get the heat going, you just put it on the dash, and then everything would warm up. So that's what
Oh.
I would eat. So for 2 months, I was like, what was I going to do? I didn't know what I was doing. I was just a mess. All my shit was in my trunk, which was huge. I had all my clothes and stuff. And that's when I met a gay guy and his boyfriend, and they were like, it's cold, because it was like snowing.
Yeah.
It was central Illinois. They're like, come stay at our house, we got a spare bedroom. So I went to stay at their house, and they were like, look, you're just going to live here, get on your feet. And they had done drag before. They loved drag. So they kind of, like, I was ended up being like their Barbie doll per se.
Mhm.
And so they, like, pushed me, because when I first started, they just called me Cass.
Yeah.
Everybody called me Cass. When I went to Cass County, that's where I lived in Beardstown. It was in Cass County. And I loved the Cass County Fair. I love pageants. So I would try to make all the girls in high school, all my friends, I would make do Miss Cass County. I would go every year. I loved it. So they would just call me Cass County. So that's how that all started. And then
Okay.
when they said, "Well, you got to have a name," I said, "Oh, I'm going to be Maybelle Star." That's what I wanted to be, because I thought it sounded like a big madam, like Miss Mona, that Maybelle Star. That's what I wanted to be. And they were like, "Oh, you can't be that. No, you can't be that. Nobody will take you serious." So that was like, you got to be Cat, just be Mama Cass. And I was like, no, I don't. Because, there was a Mama Cass that sang, that ate a sandwich and choked and everything. I didn't want to be
Oh my
known for
God.
that. Mama Cass that sang, I think she sang like Monday, Monday. She's an old singer from the 60s. But
Okay.
um, they said, no, no. Well, I had this girl that did Miss Cass County, Dina Fletcher. Now I've not talked to her since, girl, for 40 something years, probably 50 years. I've not seen her. So I don't even, she may not be alive. She may be ugly as hell, but I thought she was so beautiful at the pageant. And she wore like sequin beaded gowns and everything. And girl, they wore prom dresses back then. So I was like, yeah, she's turning it. So I said, I'll be Dina. And then the Cass came from Cass County.
Gotcha. And I just want you to know, like, this is what I mean when I say comedian, because I am hollering at this story. But okay. So you started doing drag. Tell us about a couple of people that were big names when you started that you might have looked up to.
Um, Charity Case
Mhm.
was like, she was doing drag in St. Louis, which was like 2 hours away from where we lived. So we would drive and watch Charity Case. Vicki Vincent was on their cast. A queen named Jaja Principal, she was danced literally. She's the one that, the first person that I saw that did that, that big disco mix with that everybody get
Okay.
on.
Yes. Yeah. Uh huh.
She danced the house down. She did Miss USA before and was like in the top 5. She did Miss um, America, was in the top 5. Like, she was incredible. She ended up passing away, but she was really, really nice and she was really entertaining. So her, and then people like um, Miss Vogue. Most people are gone. They passed. Shayla Simpson, people like that is who I first saw.
Okay.
And I started going to Miss USA early, like when Tommy Ross went, and we were all of us were like Tommy Ross, because like back in the day, Tommy Ross would do like Jody Watley. She looked exactly like it was Jody Watley, and she was just so mesmerizing. Even like 40 years ago, she was like incredible. So people like that, that's who like I first, and then when I went to Miss USA at large, that's when I saw Chelsea Pearl
Mm.
and Carmela.
Mm.
And I saw Carmela and she was funny, but she had on like a beaded gown, and that, because they all said, oh, big girls, you just got to do comedy numbers and, wear, just look a mess, really. And I saw Carmela, and Carmela was like, she was actually Miss USA at large. So I was like, oh my God, she's pretty and she's got a crown, and so her and Chelsea Pearl. And Chelsea Pearl was in the pageant, and I was furious that she was in the pageant because they had let a woman enter this pageant with all these men, and I could not. And they said, you need to go talk to her. That's not a woman. I said, that's not a woman.
Mhm.
And that's when I found out. I didn't know that there was anything. I didn't know men could get boobs and be a
Right.
woman. And I didn't know. I'd never even heard of that. That was uncalled. You didn't see that on TV. That
Right.
wasn't part of. So I saw her. And then I met Candy Stratton. And I was like, oh my God. Because Candy Stratton was beautiful,
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful, and mega talented. Candy Stratton was like a dancer before she even decided to be Candy. As a
Right.
boy, she was a dancer. So we went to Miss USA and we saw like Candy doing her City Lights talent, and I was like, oh my God. And I was hideous. I was hideous. And then I went to a booking, because we would do booking. Girl, we'd get in the car and we'd drive 8 hours to do a booking for tips because we wanted to do it so bad. Now, this
Right.
is a different time, and you could make $200-300 in tips at
It
these
tips.
bookings.
Okay.
But we went to a booking and Candy was there, and
Okay.
she was getting ready, and we were all just watching her. And she was talking to us. She said, oh my God. She said, you're funny, but you'll never be anything. Girl, you'll never be anything. So I thought, well, That's kind of being a bitch, but she was just being, she was, because I was hideous. I was a mess, girl. And I just decided, you know what? I'll be what I want to be.
Mhm.
And so I just kind of pushed through. But I really, all I ever wanted was to be Miss USA at large.
Right.
Now, it was a rough road, but it taught me a lot. And before I won Miss USA at large, like I said, I went to Miss Continental and I ended up winning.
Right.
So then I reigned for a whole year as Miss Continental. I stepped down, and then 2 weeks after I stepped down, I um, entered a prelim to Miss USA at large, and I won. And then 3 months later, I won Miss USA at large.
So you remember when the guy told you if you win one of the nationals, don't go to another one because they'll crack your face. So with you winning Miss Continental first, what made you want to go to Miss USA? Were you not afraid that they were going to crack you?
Because the only thing I wanted to be was Miss USA.
Okay. Okay.
And I felt like, in this weird way, I felt like, bitch, they own me. I felt like I've already won.
Mhm.
They own me. And I did, when Chelsea won, we tied. It was a
Mhm.
tie. We tied. And talent decides the winner.
Win.
And we tied for talent.
Wow. Okay.
So I was 1 point ahead of her in interview. She was 1 point ahead of me in gown, and they went with gown. But like I always say, everything happens for a reason. It was meant to be
Mhm.
because it was her time, and I've been beat lots, and I never get upset because I feel like your time will. Everybody gets I say this. Everybody gets a parade, and don't
Mhm.
ever rain on anybody else's parade because you wouldn't
Mhm.
want nobody to rain on
Yeah,
yours.
that's right.
So I'm
I
always
heard
happy.
you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm always happy for someone that wins because, and really, I would love everybody to get that chance to be able to win and be crowned and reign because
Mhm.
I know what it feels like. So I'm always
Mhm.
happy, when
Right.
any girl, whether I know her or not,
Right.
wins and stuff. But yeah, um, when Whitney won Continental Plus, Fahrenheit was really upset
Mm.
because they was so close, and
Mhm.
a lot of people thought Fahrenheit was going to win, and she was upset. And I talked to her and I said, "Girl, everything happens for a reason, and Whitney
Mhm.
probably needed that more than you."
Mhm.
Literally 2 weeks went by, and we heard that
She
Whitney
had. Yeah.
had cancer and was dying.
Mhm.
And Farron called me, and she was like, "Girl, it just rings in my head. You telling me that she needed it more." And I said, "She did.
Yeah.
Needed it
Right.
more than you, girl." And
Right.
it might have helped her live another month or whatever. And it was a
Yeah.
dream
Yeah.
place,
You're right to go
you
down.
know.
I've heard you say more than one time, "Girl, I was hideous. I was hideous." Well, Dina, when did you know you were no longer hideous?
Um, it took it took a while. I think I was because you learn, Now, when you first start doing drag, the first month or two, bitch, you think you are, bitch, you couldn't tell, bitch. I look in the mirror, bitch, I'm getting it, whore, because you're getting it, So when a new girl, I see all these new girls, and they are getting, and they're hideous. They look like skillets, girl. But I know when you're new, you think you're cutting it, bitch. You think you are the one, but I never really thought I was the one.
Mhm.
I just thought after doing them pageants and getting, you know, third runner up and second runner up, I thought I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm smart. I can figure this out. I like to play dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
Right.
Mama knows some shit.
Okay.
But and it took probably 4 5 years before I really knew, like, bitch, I'm it. I know
Okay.
I'm good. I know
Okay.
if and I never wanted to I didn't want to be the best girl. I didn't want to be like but I did want to be the best big girl.
Okay. Do
I
you
wanted
think
to,
do you think that when you look back over your career all of these years that you achieved that title as one of the best big girls or the best big girl?
yes, ma'am. I
I
sure
love
do.
it. So good. I want to talk on a topic. I see it in the comments. People have coined you the mother of gowns. Let's talk about your gowns. Because Dina, you got some heavy artillery over there in that closet. Tell us how
Yeah.
you come up with these gowns.
Okay. So when I was young, like third grade, fourth, when I was little, it was like I was raised in the 60s and the 70s, and we had TV on, we watched Carol Burnett and we watched the Ed Sullivan Show, all that, and Diana Ross.
Okay.
Diana Ross, was I was just mesmerized. And whenever I was upset as a kid, or when I was sad, or when I was down, I would listen to Diana Ross. I had all
Okay.
her albums I'd planned, and I had my brush, and I would sing "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." Bitch, you couldn't tell me I wasn't Diana Ross. And I talked about her so much that when I was in seventh grade, sixth or seventh grade, the teachers at my school asked my mother if they could take me to the Diana Ross concert.
Mm.
And they took me, and we were in the third row. And I took her roses and everything. I got a picture of me getting kissed by her. And she literally every 5 minutes, she had on a different beaded gown, rhinestone shoes, beaded cat suit, ostrich coats. And I just thought that I still think, bitch, ain't nobody the boss. She just
Right.
was and so when I first started, I had a fierce drag gig. I um I went to a club with Danielle Hunter. She was doing a prelim. Um and actually Flame Monroe was in the prelim. It was a continental prelim, and there was like 10 girls, and Danielle was in it. So I went to help her. Well, we got there, and the MC had called and canceled. So the owner of the bar was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And Danielle was like, well, have Dina, she's funny, have her. And I was like, I don't know how to MC. I ain't never MC. They're like, we'll give you a book. Just read it. Long story short, I MC'd the pageant, had them rolling the whole time. They hired me that night, and I moved there. So I started working there real early in my career at the very beginning. And they helped me. I did drag 5 nights a week there. So that's what helped make me good. But I made fierce money. Like, that's back in the day where we would make $500-600 in tips a night. Easy. The bar held like 500 people, and it was packed.
Mm.
And I made so much money that I found Coco Vega. So
Ah.
I was getting a Coco Vega every 5 or 6 weeks. I had enough money. I was getting another one. Give me a black one. Give me a red one. Let's give me a yellow one. So from the very beginning, I love beads,
Mm.
beaded fringe and rhinestones, because of Diana Ross.
Mm.
And then through the years, I've always loved evening gown. And some girls look absolutely beautiful in fabric, and some girls pull it off lovely.
Mm.
I want to be beaded, and when that light hits me, and I've always had the thought, the more shit you put on, the less they can clock. If you got so much shit going on, girl, they don't even know if you're out there and know your words, if you got makeup on or not. You got so much bullshit on. So I pile it on, baby.
So y'all hear that? Pile it on.
Pile
They
it on,
can't
because
get you.
they can't clock, girl. I got an ostrich coat, and a hat, and a feather, and a veil, and rhinestone this. Girl,
Drag. You are
drag.
dragging.
I love
So,
drag.
2 questions. What is your all-time favorite gown that you've had?
My all-time favorite gown, I'm gonna say, and it's not even that much, but my pink gown that I won Miss Continental in,
Okay.
and I won evening gown at USA. But I wore it the year before, but I won evening gown every time. But the pink gown with the pink furs,
Okay.
because that was a long time ago. That was before there were fur tails. That was before there were furs. That was an actual fur pelt that I had made and ordered, and actual, of course, fur tails. but that wrap was $8,000.
Jesus.
That was before you could get you could get furs and stuff. Now, girl, everybody's got them. I call them dog tails because they just everybody's got a thing of those flings.
Um, Another question about gowns. Are you designing your gowns or are you allowing others to do that?
I designed some of them, um, and some of them I have other people design. I do. Christina has designed some for me. I'll say, I want something fringe and one side naked and this and that. And she'll like sketch it out and design it sometimes and send it to me. I really pretty much, Patrick Howe,
Mhm,
I'll just say, I need a red gown and he'll design something just incredible.
mhm,
He, Patrick Howe makes stuff that fits me the best out of anybody over the 40 years I've done drag.
mhm,
He like has a thing of my body, and
mhm.
so I can order a dress and it comes and
Let me
it's
see.
literally amazing,
Right.
impeccable.
Okay. So, out of all the years and all these gowns, give me a roundabout estimate of how much you think you've spent on just gowns.
I hate to say it, because I don't have nothing, girl. I'm old poor. I was talking to somebody about this. And I'm like, I was talking to Virginia, my boss, Virginia West, and she was talking about somebody, and I said, girl, we would be millionaires if we hadn't
Oh,
spent all this money on this drag. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've
wow.
literally spent, I can honestly say I've spent over $1 million on drag. I've had so many ostrich coats and solid rhinestone dresses. And let me say this, back when no one had rhinestone dresses because we didn't have that China hookup and where the
Mhm,
only rhinestones you could buy were actual Swarovski rhinestones. And a gross was like $50. And to do a
mhm.
whole dress, but I had a rhinestone dress because guess what? Nobody else had one.
So
I
you
had
were
an ostrich coat. Now, you don't hardly ever see an ostrich
so
coat. You know why? Because
why?
one boa is $100. One
Mhm,
little 4-ply boa is $100. So
mhm.
when you see them huge boas, them huge ostrich, bitch, them hoes paid some coin for that. Because ostrich is really expensive now.
Now, I noticed that sometimes you'll wear a gown and you'll sell it. Is there a particular reason why you sell it so fast, or you just don't care because you know you can get another one?
I like to get new stuff. I feel
Okay.
like once you wear something, like I don't know about anybody else, but like there's just something when you put something new on, bitch, you got a different walk. You feel different. I feel different. When I put something new on, I'm like, ew, bitch. It
Okay.
just makes you feel better.
Okay. Have you
And you
done
can
every
have
color in the rainbow?
I've had every color in the rainbow.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
My
So we're
favorite
going to get
color is
to.
turquoise, like teal color is
Mhm.
my favorite color. But I've had every color. I love yellow, I love red, I love fuchsia, I love green, I love everything.
So there's no color that you would not do.
I try to stay away from purple. I don't like because I feel like it's Barney, that big Barney. Because fat people in purple, every time I see a fat person in purple, I'm like, girl, she looks like Barney. It's all Barney-ish to me. So I don't really like purple. And I'm not a fan of like burgundy and stuff, but any
Okay.
other color I really, yeah.
So if a girl comes to you and says, Dina, I know your history with gowns. Can you help me design one? Are you open to that?
Oh
Because you
yeah,
are. Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
All right. Let's get to know you a little personally. A few personal questions. What is your favorite color?
Turquoise, teal.
Turquoise. Okay.
Yep.
What is your favorite season of the year?
Um, I would probably say summer.
Really? You like to be hot?
I like the air condition though, bitch.
Okay.
I don't like to be hot, but I love from my childhood, like because I was raised we had 4 seasons. And I
Mhm.
like fall, I think it's pretty, and I like spring, everything comes to life. And I love like a little bit of winter. When I was up here last year, it was snowing. I was like, oh, it's so pretty.
Mhm.
Very small amount of winter, but yeah, I do like a little bit of it.
Okay. If you could take any day out of the week and do away with it, what day would it be?
Hmm. Thursday.
Okay.
I just don't
Okay.
feel I mean, I need Monday. I mean, I do bingo on Monday and stuff, but
Right.
I like to rest. Monday, Tuesday's slow. Wednesday we'll pick it back up, and then Thursday I just feel like, well, come on, where's the weekend?
What is it here? What's this for?
Yeah,
Yeah. If you could have lunch with any celebrity, who would it be and why?
it would be RuPaul.
Okay. Okay. Pick her brain.
Read the fuck out of her.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Um, what are three things that you know you could work on about yourself?
Number one, forgiveness.
Okay.
I don't forgive nobody.
Oh wow.
Bitch, once
Okay.
I don't like you, I ain't talked to my mother in 40 years. If I don't have to speak to my mother, bitch. So it's hard for me to forgive. It's hard for me to get over stuff. Like a lot of people, somebody will do something to them. Oh, give them another chance. Bitch, fuck that.
Okay.
I'm not. And so I should probably be more, that. Two, I have an addictive personality, really addictive. Like I can get a gown, but that's not enough. I need 4 gowns. Why? I used to get like 4 gowns, and I'd say, "Well, I got one in case I want to run to the restroom. I want to put that gown on."
Oh my
I
goodness.
used to do that at like Miss USA at large. I would go and I would get like 4 Coco Vegas, and they'd be like, "Why you got?" And I would tell my friends, I would say, "Get, let's get that gown out for what? I want to put it on and walk around." You're just
Okay.
gonna walk around in it? Yeah, I want these hoes to see me in this gown. So I would put a beaded gown on just to walk around.
Okay.
Um, but that's because I have an addictive personality. That's why I never did drugs, because I know if I would have started, bitch, I would have been
It's
strung
over.
out. Wouldn't have had a tooth in my mouth, girl. Would have been making meth in my bathtub, cooking it up.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
I would have been strung, girl. That's why I'm fat. Because I'll eat. Girl, I'm full. Bitch, give
Okay.
me some more. Let's eat some more. So that and I love to gamble. I gotta watch
Okay.
myself because I go to the casino. Girl, I'll go to the casino, be there for 2 days straight, walking around just Jones and eyeballs like I'm on drugs or something. So yeah, that.
Okay.
And then third, um, probably, probably I should have tried to take better care of my health and stuff because
Okay.
you get old and you're like, God, I wish I would have done a little some different stuff, but
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's no problem. What is your passion in life, Dina? All of these years, what did you find out to be your passion was?
I don't know if I found it yet.
Okay. That's honest.
I mean, drag has really been all the only thing. Like I do remember, like uh, when I was young, when I first came out and everything, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do drag, and because I told my mom I'm gonna win Miss USA at large. And she was like, yeah, you don't need to. Oh, you're never gonna be nothing. You're just never gonna be nothing. So I was like, well, I might not ever be, but bitch, I'm gonna make sure Dena Cass is. And
Right.
when why I really wanted to win was because I was like, I want my picture in that book.
Mhm.
Because then when I'm dead, they can still look at me. I'll be in that book.
Okay. What's your favorite place to visit?
Um, Las Vegas.
Okay. Gamble.
Sadly, I love it because it's like, have you been there?
Yeah. Hmm.
It's like it's just energy. Everywhere you
Yeah.
go, there's so much energy, and people are just. It's just a happy place.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. If you could live in any decade that you haven't lived in, or any relive in a decade, what would it be? Or which would it be, rather?
I think it would be the 50s.
Okay.
I love the clothes from I love the clothes, the music, the soda shops,
Mhm.
I think it's so I love the
Love it.
50s.
It's so funny you say that. We always coin Marilyn Monroe as that girl, right? But people always sleep on Jane Mansfield. She was a
Oh, and did you see the
bad.
movie? She
Oh
was
my goodness. I
she
just
was
posted her
prettier
in my story. She was amazing.
she was prettier than, Marilyn,
Yeah.
actually. I
She
was
was beautiful, bodacious, and all of that. Okay. Um, so what is one thing that you may regret in life?
Um, I think, and I have begun to tell people this, like other girls. I regret that I never had a job.
Hmm.
I tell girls all the time, get some sort of job, even if it's just like, girl, like 20 hours a week or something, even if it's just in a little boutique, or even if it's just a small job, because, I've not paid any Social Security. I've not done any of that. So I'm going to get almost damn near ready to try to collect something. And girl, I'm going to probably get disability, like just a few $100s a month.
Mhm.
And there's going to come a time when I'm not going to be able, like, I see a few queens that still try to do drag. And I'm like, oh, bless her heart. But she might have to do that,
Mhm.
because what do you do when you've done drag your whole life, when you've never had a job, when I'm almost 60. What am I going to do now? Decide to go to college? And girl, I ain't doing all that. So that was probably my biggest regret, is not having, because I probably wouldn't have been like a lawyer or nothing, but if I would have
Right.
worked my whole life at something, I
Yeah, you
would
would have
have
been
had,
able to go.
some Social Security, a little check enough to like probably pay a rent somewhere.
Mhm. That's some good advice. When you're packing your drag bag for the show, what's the first thing you pack?
Well, the first thing I make sure that's in that bag is my perfume.
Okay.
Um, Perfume is a huge thing for me. I wear very strong. I wear opium or youth dew. They call me everyone. Antoinette Chanel Roberts is one of my best friends, and she always read me, girl, you smell like an old woman. You smell like an old woman. And because I douse myself, I spray my hands with it. And when I do drag, I spray my hands right before my number. And everyone that tips me, I take their hand like this. When
Wow.
they pull their hand back, they smell that. They smell that the next day. You can't wash that off. I don't know if you know how strong it is. It's very
Yeah.
strong. Everyone who knows me knows that I have a perfume scent. And because when I first started doing drag, they had there was a girls that worked in the bar that I went to, and they all had their scent, and nobody would even dare wear that, because when you smelled that, and they had a fan that blew on stage, and those girls would take their perfume and just one squirt, and the
Wow.
whole room would smell like their perfume before they walked out. Everyone knew they were coming because they knew from the smell. And back then, now they have like, Tahiti surprise, and
Yeah.
I say all the girls now smell like Walgreens. When you first walk in Walgreens, they all smell like Walgreens. They all use that Tahiti surprise and cotton
Yes.
candy. Girl, it's just not me.
Cheap.
I cheap. I want to smell expensive, baby. I want to smell like Macy's,
Yeah,
not
and
Walgreens.
you're leaving them with an experience because now they remember Dina
Now
Cass.
that not only it's the senses, they see you, they feel you, they smell you.
Yes. That's some good advice. So ladies, make sure that you are having real perfume, not the
Because
stick
back in the
spray.
day, they didn't have that. We had to buy like Chanel. You had to buy real perfume,
Mhm.
and now they buy that. I don't like that. I mean, I'm not telling nobody how to do drag, but
Right.
you spray that and spray your hands, and when you take that dollar from them, they're going to smell you, and they'll smell you tomorrow, because that
Mhm.
don't just wash off.
Mhm.
Why take
What?
their scent?
Right. What? Before we play the game, I want to ask. I want to go back because you said you want to read somebody. Now, why you want to read the Lady Rule?
Um, because I feel like in my career I could do anything. I entered every pageant, pretty much won every pageant that I really wanted. I wanted to be Miss Florida, but I did it once and I was first runner up, and it just wasn't meant to be. But everything that I wanted to be, I felt like, and at least Miss Florida, I felt like I could enter. I could go do it. I could still go do it.
Right.
but I can't go to that RuPaul's Drag Race. They won't let me on there. I've auditioned 15 times. They won't let me on there. They know me. They know me. All of them, Alyssa Edwards and all of them have said, even Roxy and all of them, they've said, oh, they were talking about you. They know you. They know who we are. They know who you are. They know us. Those producers know all the drag queens. They wouldn't let me on there. I'm sure it was because of these for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time. And now I think I'm too old because I'll be 58. So I think I'm too old. And they they just had a girl on there that was 30 and they were calling her grandma and she's too old to do. Girl, what are they going to really think of me? So I finally have just accepted in my soul that I'm never getting on there. But it
Mm-hmm.
pisses me off that I don't feel like I have a fair chance. And I don't, bitch. I said I don't care. You can vote me off, bitch. Keep the plane. Hold on. Let me just take a dress and do that first one, and you kick me right off. It's just to be on it, because them girls that get kicked right off the first time, girl, they're still them hoes are getting paid more than a month or more in a night than I get in a month.
See, wow. So we do a game called Name It and Claim It. I will give you 10 words, people, places, things, quotes, something may have happened in your life, and you give us the first authentic thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
This will be
So,
hard.
no, it's gonna be easy. I'm gonna make it easy for you.
Okay.
The first person will be your daughter, Brittany Sebastian. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Showgirl.
Okay.
Showgirl.
Okay.
Because she's like me. She loves anything showgirl. Loves it. Just
Okay.
it's like lights her up. It's like puts her on fire.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of the night you won All American Goddess?
Accomplished.
Tell us about that.
I did Miss US, or I did I was never doing another pageant after Continental and USA.
Right.
And they started having that Miss National at large. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said, "Oh God, I'm going to have to go do that." So I got ready for that pet. With Chelsea was stepping down, I got ready. I had 12 dancers from Chicago. I had bought all the plane tickets. I had bought a costume. Literally, my costume was literally $10,000. Had all new gowns. The day we were supposed to leave, my dancers were in the airport in Chicago. Chelsea called me and said, "Girl, they canceled the pageant."
Wow.
I was devastated. I literally had spent about $40,000 before we got to the pageant. So I said, "I'm never doing another pageant. That's it. I don't care." Well, then they decided to have this All American Goddess,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Oh, I'm not worried about that." Well, then the second year, Calexis won,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh God, now there's good people starting to win. What am I going?" And then I saw them down in Florida. They were at Disney World, all of them. They had brought all the formers, there were like 12 of them all there. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to be part of that. I feel like I've got to be part. It's such a family, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a family. So, anything with family, I'm like jumping on that family. So I said, I've got to do that. So I got ready for All American Goddess at Large. And again, I spent about $40,000 because I knew that I had to go there and I knew I had to win, whether I was crowned or not, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe you can win and not be crowned. We can get to
Absolutely.
that. We can get to that later. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, I'm going to win. There's no question. I'm winning that. Like when I went to Miss USA at Large, I said, I'm going to win. Now, if they don't crown me, I'll know that they don't want me. And I won every category with a perfect score.
Right.
I
You when
went
you.
to All American
Mm-hmm.
Goddess and I won. It was literally because I knew how to reign now. I had been all those other titles. And so now I knew how to reign. I knew how to do it. And so I did it. And I was Miss All American Goddess at Large. And I had such an incredible year. And when I stepped down, it was so devastating. I literally cried. I sat in the bar like they had to make me leave. Like everyone left, and I was
Mm.
just sitting there. I was crying, and they were like, "You've got to leave. The bar is closed." I said, "No, please let me stay. I just want to. I feel like I'm never gonna. I was
Mm.
devastated. Girl, I was in a deep depression. I was
Oh.
literally. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So
Mm.
after that, and I had done like I won like Miss Renaissance Plus, and I did all those pageants because I wanted to, like, I hadn't done like pageants for like 10 years. So I was like,
Right.
I got to do some of these. I got to walk. I got to get the pageant go back going, in my system. So that's why I did a lot of like little pageants before all, but then I won all my goddess stars. So then 2 years later, a couple years later, I was talking to Scott Gonya, the owner, and he was talking to me. And he was like, "Oh, you had such a good run." I said, "Well, I'm running again." He said, "You can't run again." I said, "There ain't nothing in the rules that I can't run again. I'm running again." "Oh, you can't do it. Nobody will do the pageant." Nobody. I said, "Well, that's on y'all. Y'all have to get people, but I'm doing it again." Well, he threw such a fit that I wasn't doing it. He said, "Well, if you want to do it, then do All American Goddess."
Mhm.
I said, "Okay, I'll do that then. Watch." I did it, and I won.
And when you think of you, Dena Cass, and you being the big girl and the top big girl and all that, I think that fits you, All American Goddess. The name fits who you are, as like you said earlier, being you wanted to be that top girl. So
And
good
so
for
that
that.
was a big thing for me because I had always been at large,
Uh
plus,
huh. Right.
big, fatty Arbuckle, everything big. So that was just All American Goddess. I was
Yeah.
just, it was
Right.
like, I say it's a skinny girl title. Anybody can win, but you know.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's why I did it because I had such a great reign at large. So I was like, well, let me go back.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of the state of Florida?
Disney,
Okay.
Disney. I love Florida. I love the state. I love tropical weather. We used to go there on vacation as kids, so it really reminds me of all that. I love it. I would love to live there. Um, I love Disney. I'm like psycho about it. I never get bored. I could go every single day. There just is no work there in Florida. There's
Mm.
none.
Oh goodness. Do you
You
have
know,
a favorite Disney character that you like, or just
Tiana.
oh, that's my name. Yes. Okay. All right.
Tiana.
We
I
love
have
Tiana.
I have a whole like room that's Tiana. I have like figurines and I have the dolls and I have everything. I
Okay.
love The Princess and the Frog. It's such a beautiful movie.
Oh, it is pretty. This next name, she inboxed me and said, "Y'all have history, and you are her girl." So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Flame Monroe?
I have so much fun around Flame. She's so funny. And I always knew, like, I feel like Flame should have been in movies 30 years ago.
Mhm.
She's like that. She's that girl.
Mhm.
Um, I just feel like she never got the chance.
Mhm.
I feel like I could do something in TV. I just never got the chance. And the
Right.
thing that I hate about our community as a whole, no one of us, there's people who could have helped Flame a long time ago. There's people that could help me. There's people that could do things for all of us.
Mhm.
They can't be bothered. And that's what I hate about our community because our community should get behind all of us if they can and help. There's a lot of people that could help me and boost me. They don't, which is, it's okay. I'm used to it. I get it. But the
Right.
same thing with Flame. Flame is a hilarious, but Flame could be an actress, a fierce actress. She
Mhm.
just ain't got the chance. I
Right.
could see her in movies. Medea, bitch, Flame could be doing that set.
Yeah.
Flame
Right.
probably be better than Medea. Let's be honest.
Right. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Jerry Bird?
That fucker. I love
Okay.
Jerry. We have a history. Um, I love Jerry, and like I said, I only wanted to be Miss USA. We kind of had a falling out because I had Miss Iowa for 10 years. And it was the biggest. One year it was bigger than Texas. I had 48 contestants for Miss Iowa. I built it up, but I just got tired. It cost so much money and it was so much work. And I wanted to do pageants. I decided I wanted to go to All American Goddess. And I've always believed you can't sell Pepsi and Coke. Bitch, if you work for Pepsi, that's what you sell. If you work for Coke, that's what you sell. If you're Miss USA, you need to be selling Miss USA. You don't need to be going to do some other pageant and trying to sell. You can't be a Miss USA and Miss Continental. Well, which one are you trying to get girls to do? What are you selling? Who you selling?
Right.
So I just knew I couldn't sell the brand like I wanted to because I like everything. I like to do everything right. Well, he got furious with me, got all mad, and because I had emceed Miss USA for years. I emceed like 4 years with Natasha, and then I emceed like 4 years with Coffee, and then I emceed for like 10 years. Well, he decided since I wasn't going to have that pageant, he wasn't going to have me MC Miss USA no more, which I really don't care, girl, because I'm a different breed. So, bitch, I don't give a shit. I don't really even like that. But we kind of had a falling out. But I mean, I love Jerry, but at the end, I hadn't talked to him.
Okay, understandable. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Antoinette Chanel Roberts?
Me and her been through a lot. We're really close. I'm just going to say, we're very much alike. We like the exact same things. We like to gamble. We like the boys. We like drag. We're very close. I talk to her literally almost every day. I might miss a day if she's busy or something, but we talk literally every single day.
Okay, got you. Columbus, Ohio. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Home.
Okay.
I really like it here. I feel like I found a place. It's very much like Iowa here. And I say drag here, there's a ton of people that do drag, and everybody does drag, and everybody does their own thing, and nobody cares if I've got all this bullshit on, and nobody cares if she's dancing and doing flips and stuff. We all do our own thing. We all get along. There's really no drama. Florida, the one thing I can remember about Florida, Antoinette had said that, she said, girl, I want to tell you this. She said, I don't want you to say nothing. I said, well, I won't. And she said, and she told me who it was, a girl that I like, that, we were kind of close. I mean, not like besties or nothing, but she came to her and said, now Dina's moving here. Don't book her. And Emerson's was like, why? You don't like her? She said, no, I like her, but don't book her. She has all that stuff. She's going to come here and wear all that stuff. And then the bar owner's going to expect us to get stuff. And I feel Florida's very that.
Okay.
You got all this. Just go ahead and sit home so we can wear our little cocktail dress and do. And, it's not like that here. They don't care if I want to wear that. Somebody else dances and does the splits. No, we don't care. Everybody bring your talent and do your thing, and we all get along.
What's the first thing that comes?
Refreshing.
Right. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of National Showgirl pageantry system?
Me.
Because you've been all three, right?
I've been all three.
Right.
Well, there's a story behind that. I told him in an interview this year, I said, I'm the blueprint. It was made because of me.
Okay.
Really. The guy that owned it, he had a friend that went to United States, and they felt like that friend didn't win. They felt like it was rigged. So he wanted to make his own pageant. So at the time I was having Miss International, a pageant called Miss International. And I had it like 3 years. And the last year I had like 35 contestants. But again, I was getting ready to do All American Goddess. I wanted to compete. So I was like, I'm not going to have this pageant anymore. It was like, well, will you sell it to me? I said, you can have it. You can run it. So he was going to have that. And then we had sat down and talked. And he's like, well, I love Showgirl. I love, and we kind of had came up between him and like Nova Star and a few people came up with National Showgirl. And so that I was like, he asked me the very first year I reigned, I was I was appointed. I was the beginning. I was
Mhm.
it, the blueprint. So yeah,
Okay, got you. And the last one, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of or you hear Jim Flint?
fag. I
Okay.
love I love Felicia. Let me tell you, I love her, but she's a fag. Girl, she loves if somebody wants to stir the pot, she's got the biggest spoon and the biggest pot, baby. Now, and I love her to death. But when I stepped down Continental Plus, girl, he treated me so fucking good. I decided to do Miss USA at large. He called me and said, "How much is your evening gown?" I said, "It's $2,800." Okay. The next 2 days later, I had a check in the mail. He paid for my gown. What else do you need? But she likes to stir it.
But okay, so when you say she likes to stir it in the matter of what sense?
Bitch, like a fag. She likes to stir it, bitch. Like Flame. Flame. I listened to Flame's interview, and she's like, me and Miss Felicia. Girl, Felicia's been in it with everybody.
Okay, okay,
You
okay,
know, I still love her, but yeah, she likes to stir it, baby.
okay. So, how was your reign as Miss Continental Plus? Such a
It was.
prestigious title you won. How was the year? Tell us about that.
I didn't know. Of course, it was my first title, so I didn't know what to do. I kind of thought I knew, but I was learning. But like I took pictures of all the girls. That was before we had any internet. So I took pictures of all the girls at every prelim. When I got ready to step down, I gave him um, pictures of all the girls, what they won, first runner ups, everything. I went to literally, I had like 26 prelims. I was all over the nation. I worked that year because that was in 97. So that's back when pageants were like firecracker. You
Mhm.
were like a RuPaul girl. They would bring me in, I would work 3, 4, 5 nights, fly somewhere else, work 3, 4, 5 nights, fly somewhere else. Like I only had, I think I figured it up, I had like 18 days off for the whole year.
Oh wow,
For the year. I worked almost every night. And
wow.
I had a good job. I was in Iowa at the time. I had a good job. I could have worked there 4 or 5 nights a week, but I was literally worked nonstop. So I made fierce money, had new clothes at every prelim. Um, I learned how to sell myself and I learned how to work with contestants because, a girl will win a prelim, you have to stay in contact with her. How's everything going? You have to call the promoter. Hey, have you talked to? And I did all that. So
Okay.
when I stepped down, I had 38 contestants at Miss
Wow.
Continental Plus. There was 16 the year I won. When I stepped down, there was 38.
Oh, you
One
doubled
of
it.
the biggest years ever.
Yeah.
So, it was a wonderful reign. He still praises me to this day. So I mean, I was happy. And by then, oh, and I won. I was 420 pounds when I won, and I lost 170 pounds in the year because I won. And I went back to the hotel, and my friends were like, "Oh my God, are you excited?" And I was like, "No, I've got to lose weight because I'm not gonna fit in a plane. I'm not gonna
Mm.
fit." So I lost all that. I went on a major diet that night. I didn't even eat that night. I went on a major diet, started exercising, went on the low carb, and I lost all that weight that year. So when I did Miss USA at large, I was thin. I was,
Oh,
small again.
okay.
So,
Got you. Everything that you went through as Miss Continental Plus, the good, the bad, everything that you now know, would you say you would do it again if you could?
yes.
Okay.
And I wish I would have won later because I
Mm.
feel like now I could even be more incredible, because I didn't really know, like I was fierce. I was a fierce All American Goddess at large because I knew what to do. Bitch,
Mm.
I
Right.
off and running. Continental, I didn't really know what to do. Still, it was wonderful.
Mhm.
There was really no bad for Continental.
Okay.
There was one prelim that there was a tornado. I was in Illinois. There was a tornado, and I was supposed to fly to Missouri, and there was a tornado, and they grounded all the planes. So I went and rented a car and
Mm,
drove to Missouri and got there right as the pageant started, so I didn't miss it.
professional. So why don't you return, Dina?
To Continental,
Yeah.
a lot of people ask me this. I love to go,
Mhm.
but I don't need it. Some girls need that, and that's okay. It's lovely if they need that and they want that feel of that. That's wonderful. There's nothing bad about that. I just I don't need it. I can run to Walmart and it doesn't bother. And I love to go, but if I go, I gotta look, bitch. I gotta turn it. So
Mhm.
I gotta have something for presentation, $1,000 or better. They don't bring us back. So I gotta travel there, two,
Oh,
three, 400. They don't get hotels. So I gotta get 2, 3 nights in Chicago at hotel. There's another 500. They don't get rides. So I got my rides, my parking. They don't get food. So I gotta eat. So it's $2,500, $3,000 if I want to turn it.
oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. All right. But you're
Nothing
taken
against
care of while
nobody.
you're the queen, though, right?
No, when you're reigning, he brings you back and pays for
Okay.
everything. But like
Okay.
as a former, that's why I don't come back as a former.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, hopefully in 2027, your 30 year, you'll be back. Yes? No?
I might, because I live in Ohio. I could maybe drive.
Okay. All right. Flames on. She says, hey, she just
Hey,
came. We
Flame.
just talked about you, Flame. So I want to take the rest of this time. You have been in the game 40 years. So I want to get some wisdom from you. I want you to talk to the hundred and so people that are watching you and the people that will be watching you later on. And I want to touch on some nuggets that you've hit on. You said something just a few minutes ago about selling yourself. Talk to us about entertainers and our queens when it comes to selling yourself as the queen or what have you, what are the proper guidelines, the proper precautions for that? What would you say how do you do that?
Well, it used to be talent. If you were talented, you were booked and you did pageants. It's such a different time now.
Mhm.
They were Now you just have to own a wig and they book you. But to be for longevity and to be able to do this year after year after year, sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. You
Mhm.
have to stay ahead of the game. You have to be professional. You have to keep your mouth shut sometimes sometimes you don't really want to, but try to look your best and try to be nice to everybody. And I say, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like her. I wouldn't work with her. Oh, I don't want to work with her." Bitch, I'm working with whoever shows up. You don't get to pick who works with you when you work at McDonald's. Bitch, that fry lady, if you don't like her, she's still on them fries. I'm doing my gig.
You're you're right. You are absolutely right. You are someone again 40 years longevity. So what has kept you going and maintain? What do you think has been the key point to keep you maintained in the industry for so long? Keep you booked, keep you working.
I really think that I'm a chameleon. I can bend. I get along with a lot of people. I can put up with a lot of stuff. Um, I do try to keep my drag fresh. I do try to watch like even the young kids I watch and they do like little different things and I try different stuff and different hairstyles and I mean I've watched like makeup over the years and it's changed so much. I just think you have to be willing to change.
Mhm.
There's some entertainers that are still wearing the exact same makeup they're wearing in the 90s. You have to be willing to change a little bit.
Mhm. With so much happening, RuPaul's Drag Race bringing out a different side of drag, social media now, and the times changing from the years you've been in. Do you think it has affected you in a negative way with bookings and things of that nature? Like, you're not getting as much as you did maybe in the 90s when you were Miss Continent or Miss USA?
No, I feel
Okay.
like I feel like, if I was willing to, like, travel, I get so many
Mhm.
messages, people wanting to book me. Girl, I'm so lazy. I don't wanna go get on a plane. I don't wanna go nowhere.
Mhm.
I work here like 4 or 5 nights a week, and that's plenty. So,
Mhm.
I mean, if I had to travel, I would, but I don't.
You're okay being at home.
Yeah, I get
Mhm.
bookings. It's not like people don't wanna book me, and
Right.
I think, they used to book me for different. I think they book me now
Mhm.
for that because I've been in the business so long,
Mhm.
and a lot of time, like, I always I when I go out of town, I always tell girls, "Remember this night, and remember when you come in every night, remember and take just a second to enjoy, to look around and enjoy the people you're with, enjoy the girls you're with, enjoy the crowd, enjoy it, because we go so fast and then
Mhm.
it's over." And I think back so many times, I wish I would have just sat there for another hour, or I wish I wouldn't have been in a hurry to leave, or I wish I wouldn't have, because then it's over and you're like,
Mhm.
damn, can't go back there. So I tell everybody, enjoy, take a second because we don't stop and breathe it in and really enjoy the time that we're having. We go
Yeah.
so fast.
Yes. But speaking of over, when do you feel you'll be ready to retire? You'll be done, or will you?
I was actually I was gonna retire. I was done. I had set this tour up. I was done. I was gonna sell all my stuff. I had set this tour up, and then I was gonna move. I was moving up to the Midwest, but I was not gonna do drag. Maybe once a year here or there. But I was good being done, and I was gonna try to find some little job and whatever. Um, and I was fine with that. And then I came here in October. It was like I asked Virginia because I wanted to go to like Iowa, Indiana, all these places that I have been throughout my career that meant something to me.
Mhm.
So I came here and I had such a great time, and I went back
Mhm.
home, and Virginia was like, "Oh, come back up, come back up." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll come back up for this final swoop." So when I came up here, I they do different stuff here. They do like, it's almost like musicals.
Mhm.
They put together this show and then they do it for like 3 weeks. Um like we did, like it was called Siscom, and it was like a sitcom, a gay, like it was three sisters, and it was about their life, and
Mhm.
one was a lesbian and one was a drunk, and it was a comedy musical, and we sang, we do songs in it. And I got rejuvenated. And Virginia's like, "You gotta come, you gotta come. You fit in so good here." And I said, I was ready to quit, but I will be honest. I do love it here, and I do
Mhm.
love what we do here. If you can find me a house, and I'm leaving tomorrow, so we got to get, I'll come. She had me a house that day. And so I
Wow.
just moved here. So, but when will it be done? I feel like it's done when I can't get booked.
Okay.
If I'm not working, you know, because
Mhm.
unfortunately, I put everything I have into drag. So if I decided to go work, let's say I just went to a bank and work, because I have a friend that's like, "You should come to the bank," and I probably could do that, but I wouldn't want to. I would work all day. By the time I got home, the last thing I'm doing is a drag show. So then I
Mhm.
would, just quit that. And I think I could, but I'm going to enjoy it as long
As
as,
long as you can.
and there comes a time, because I know I got eyes, and I look at some entertainers and I'm like, baby, mama should have quit a few years ago. But I guess she's still doing it and still getting booked, and I'm not reading nobody, because
Right.
I understand this is all you got, and, this is what you've done your whole life and you love it and stuff. But
Mhm.
I feel like
You
when the time comes, I'll know,
come.
or somebody will tell me. I got a couple friends, and I'm like, "Girl, if I get like that, will you please
Let me know.
do a clip or push me off or do something to me?" So,
You mentioned some earlier. You said you want to talk about the politics of pageantry and the crowning girls that didn't win and vice versa. Let's talk about that. Have you ever experienced that yourself first?
Oh yeah, I've been in the room, girl, when the cooking was happening.
Ooh. Any particular year?
Um, oh, I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Okay, well that's fine. You don't have
Well,
to get
no,
about
I
in
don't
trouble.
care. I don't care, girl. I will say this: Continental. I was in the room when a lady won, and he lost his mind, but he crowned that bitch.
Okay.
He
Okay.
did not, and he was infuriated that Santana had won, and
Okay.
he was
Fair.
not crowning her.
Okay.
But he did.
Okay.
And I know a couple other ones have won that he really didn't like, but he
Mhm.
still crowned them.
Okay.
I feel like Continental, I feel like it's fair, but I do also feel like it's political. And I feel like once they all get there, they decide who they want.
Mm.
That's who's winning.
Okay.
Because if you go back and you watch, there'll be years when somebody wins, and a lot of people are like, "The fuck? How?" But it's because I think they just kind of focused on her. Because you can look at somebody and overlook their flaws. You can overlook that their gown's way too long, or they got a rip here, or they got this, or they got that. And I feel like sometimes I feel like that in all pageants. I feel like they look at somebody like we used to say at USA. If you win talent, if you got a gown, and you don't even have to have a good gown, if you win talent, then they like your gown. They like
Mhm.
it way better than if you were hideous in talent. You might come in, you know what I'm saying? Because it's ranked.
Mhm.
Now I was at USA, and Courtney Van Wales won the pageant.
Okay. Mhm.
Courtney Van Wales won the pageant, but they crowned Jacqueline Devereaux, and I was there. I was in there.
Mhm. Why do you feel like those executive decisions are made? Do you think
He
it's just
didn't want Courtney because she was that's when she was at the height of her porn career, and he said he couldn't crown a like her at that time. He couldn't crown her.
gotcha?
But
Okay.
she, I
The
mean,
image.
she definitely. But and I was told this by him and Craig and a couple other ones, that the year Natasha Edwards won, Carmela actually won that pageant. That's why they
Mhm.
created Miss USA at Large
Gotcha.
for Carmela,
Mhm.
because Carmela won and they didn't want to crown her.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
they crowned Natasha.
Do you like to judge pageants?
Somewhat, but I always hate, it's always so hard. I mean, I'm fair, but it's always so hard because most of those girls, it's their dream and they've put
Mhm.
so much in it, and you know,
Yeah.
it's just sad when somebody, I mean, I judge all the time, but I always feel bad when I'm happy for the one that won, but even first runner up girl, then you're like, I got so close and didn't get it.
One of the ongoing questions that we ask every week to our pageant legends is, why do you feel the numbers are so low in pageantry these days?
Well, first of all, it cost a lot of money to be
Mhm.
good. Let's be
Mhm.
honest. And the prize money is, everything in price has went up except the prize.
Mhm.
Prize money went up. Miss USA, you get, I think it's $2,500, 1,200 when you win. Girl, your
Mhm.
hotel bill is $1,200 for the week. You know, so that prize money doesn't match what you're going to spend.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I tell girls all the time, don't do a pageant for you, for your legacy, and because you want it. Because at this point, I'm just doing pageants now for my just one more to throw on, the list of what
Yeah.
I've done. But is it going to give me more bookings? No. Is it going to make me any money? No. It's going to cost me to do any pageant. But to do it, to be part of, a legacy or something, and do that for you. I think the numbers are down because you don't have to do a pageant to get booked. Everybody, if you own a wig and you're halfway decent, you're booked. because everywhere does a show. There's a brunch everywhere that has a door has a drag show nowadays. And a lot of them girls, the new girls, they're trying to get on that RuPaul's Drag Race where you get that real money. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so in pageants, you have to put yourself out there to be judged, and a lot of girls don't want to put themselves out there to be judged and stuff. So I think it's very hard to get people, and I think a lot of people feel like it's there's still some rigging and there's. But I always say pageants are a business. You gotta realize, like Jim Flint, Jerry Bird, those people own a pageant. They need somebody who's going to do what they, if they get somebody and that person's horrible, that's going to affect their numbers even more. That's, if nobody likes that person, nobody's going to come to their step down. All that's money. And the bottom line is those people don't have them pageants just because they make money off that. That
Mhm.
pageant used to pay Jerry. That's Jerry's only income.
Mhm.
He would make all that money and live a year on it. So
Mhm.
that was money. So you have to remember, especially like and girls like on Facebook and on the internet, you have to watch what you put. You have to watch what you say, and a lot of girls, they always say, well, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me. There's a lot of times when I'm raining, I've had to keep my mouth shut because I
Mhm.
know that they aren't going to want me to say that. So a
Mhm.
lot of people have been spared some good readings because I've been raining damn near my whole life because I
Right.
probably would have been the bitch, but not that I ain't the bitch because
Right.
I can be a bitch, but yeah, I think that's why numbers are down. I think it's hard because girls.
Yeah. I have two questions from someone anonymous. They want to know, how was your time in San Antonio, Texas, and did you get along well with Erica Andrews?
I loved Erica. Yes, Erica was, we reigned together as Miss US. She was Miss USA when I was Miss USA at large. So we went to a lot of places together. We traveled to a lot of places. Erica was a good time gal. She was fun. She was funny. I always got along with her. I thought she was absolutely beautiful. She did drag. I've only done cocaine twice in my life, and one time was with her.
Mhm.
And you just didn't say no to Miss Erica. The other time was with Mimi. Those are the two times I've done cocaine. When it was like a New Year's that we did, and I did
Yeah.
love San Antonio. I moved to San Antonio because they had offered me a job. They paid me like a check, so I was paying taxes. I was paying Social Security. I was doing all that like for 1 year, and I probably would have stayed there. The problem is COVID hit and I didn't
Mm.
work for months and months. So I just went, Florida was open and Antoinette was like, you can work here. So I
You wouldn't.
loaded up the truck and we moved to Beverly. I hit it to Florida so I could work because I didn't have no income. Um,
Right.
but I liked San Antonio. There were a lot of girls there I really liked. That were really nice. I had a couple good friends there. I enjoyed San Antonio. It was nice.
You seem like I said from the beginning, funny. Like you talk, your stories are hilarious. I'm so enjoying this. But let's just be honest. You were that girl. You had the stuff. Did you ever have any rivals during your pageantry time? Like she would get you. She would place over you. You would place over her. Y'all were always back and forth. Did you have anyone like Pork Chop or Chissy or anyone?
Well, I would probably say, like Chevelle.
Okay.
Chevelle was a big girl, but Chevelle was like boom boom. She was the
Mhm.
dancer, baby. Um,
Yeah.
so and she was first runner up when I won Miss USA at large.
Okay.
Chevelle was first runner up 4 times at USA at large. She never won
Goodness.
USA at large, but she won Miss USA.
Mhm.
It's crazy,
Okay.
but it was just meant to be that way.
Okay.
Um, but I think like when we were doing pageants, because I did pageants with like Whitney Page and
Mhm.
Chelsea Pearl and Dina Jacobs and Donna Day, all of the big girl greats. We all did them together, and I think that we all wanted to win and we were all kind of rivals, but it was a different time,
Mhm.
and we all respected each other.
Okay.
Um, like Chelsea beat me. Um, I beat Whitney. We beat each other,
Mhm.
sometimes, but we all just we did it,
We did it.
we
Yeah.
were excited. We would like sit out there and watch, let's see what Whitney's gonna do. Let's watch Chelsea, let's diet a Pepsi. Let's watch these girls because we were excited, to see the other. It's not necessarily like that now. And now it's when they hear, oh, Whitney Page is doing the pageant. Oh, bitch, I ain't doing that. I'm staying home. But back then,
Well,
bitch,
they say that about you too now.
I don't know why, because bitch, I can be beat easy. But we all did it together and we knew one of us was going to win. We all wanted to win, but bitch, if we didn't, we just was happy for the one that did, and we'll come back next year, you know. And we had such a good time doing it. There was such camaraderie, and we laughed in the dressing room, and we kikied together, and we read each other, and it was a complete different time now. They hear one girl's coming, and oh yeah, I'm not going. I'm not going. I mean, I say go do a pageant. If I'm doing a pageant, bitch, I'm doing it. I don't care who's doing it. Come on, baby. Whitney come back from the dead. Come on, baby. We gonna do this pageant. Sit by me. This girl, we gonna have fun in the dressing room and kiki. And if I lose, I don't care if I lose. But I'm doing the pageant. Now I'm coming. You can best believe I'm coming ready.
Yes, of course.
But
Natasha Edwards, how was your experience with her?
I only knew Natasha Edwards for very little time. She was sweet. She got sick like right after she won Miss USA. So I didn't spend a lot of time with her.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
Natasha
Um,
Richards, I did.
yes. Now, how about that, Natasha Richards?
Natasha Richards was one of the craziest. She was funny as hell, but she liked to party.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had to share a room with her. And I always just knew when we got there, bitch, we're up for 7 days. We ain't sleeping. We're
Oh
partying.
my.
Because she was a partier, but she was fun, was
Mhm.
one of the most talented individuals, just was so talented.
Mhm.
The most talented to me, the two most talented people that in my whole career are Monica Monroe, could literally just stand there. It's so talented. And Tasha Long. Those are
Yes,
the two most
absolutely.
talented people.
Absolutely. You were the host MC at the Baton, am I correct?
I was.
How was that experience for you during the time there?
Um, well, they had asked me numerous times to come to because Ginger passed away. They had hired me in 98. Jim had hired me to cover for Ginger when she was out of town.
Okay.
Ginger did not like um what I brought. Um I would pull out, bitch, I was beaded, I was draped. Ginger did not like that. We didn't fight, but I could always just tell she didn't. So I left after a year. I said, I'm not going to sit here and fight with somebody,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
be somewhere. So I left. So I knew I could do it good. I made fierce money then in 98. Well, when I went back, and I didn't think, I thought, well, it's the Baton. So when I went back, I thought, oh, this is going to be incredible. I can go there. I can live the rest of my life there. I'm going to be able to talk probably the rest of my life. And that was lovely being ready to MC. The girls were fine, but we did 3 shows a night. There were nights when we did shows to 2 people, and then the next show there were 5 people, and then the next show there was 3 people, and we're doing these full shows, bitch. We're doing productions. I mean, it's work. And there was one Friday night that I went there, that I went to work, and we had 2 at the first show. I'll never forget it. We had 2 at the first, 3 at the second, and 2 at the last. And I made $12 on a Friday night. And on the way home, I said, "Girl, the math, it ain't mathing. I'm
Mhm.
going, I'm going broke here." And they hired me to work 5 nights a week. And as soon as I got there, they cut Thursdays. or Wednesdays, because there just wasn't enough people. It was just dead. So then I was down to 4 days. So at the end, he cut Sundays. And I said, I can't, 3 days, I can't make it here. When I moved there, my apartment was $2,400. And because it's expensive in Chicago and I needed parking, I had a car. And I thought, well, as long as my pay is what it's going to be, I can probably make tips. So every month I was putting my rent on credit cards. I was
Mm.
going deeper. When I moved to Chicago, my credit score was 802. I had a fierce. I'd worked years and years and years. My car was paid for. Um, I had to start charging my rent. I had to start charging food. I just was not making money. It's very hard. And then they cut those days, and I was just so far backwards that I knew this was a dead end for me. It's just, and we did have nights that were busy, that were lovely, and we did make money, but a good night here and there and a good show here and there, I couldn't make it. So when
Yeah.
he cut me that second day, I was just like, I'm just not. I probably could have went with him and fought with him and said, "Look, but girl, I just don't fight with people. I'm just, okay,
Right.
peace out." So that I left.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because I didn't get. I mean, the girls were fine. The staff was fine. It's I just couldn't make enough money there.
Gotcha. Well, that definitely makes sense about that. Um, Alicia Markstone, was she your mother, or would you have
She
considered her your mother?
she pretty much is when we started. They didn't really have mothers. We didn't really have mothers. Back 40 years ago, we didn't really, but she really would took us all kind of under her wing. Because nobody knew but she knew how to do wigs because she was a hairdresser, and she knew how to do makeup, and
Mhm.
she knew how to sew. Like now she's perfected. She taught herself to sew, but
Mhm.
even 40 years ago, she could sew a fierce dress or a fierce gown or a
Mhm.
costume. She could throw up and she could do a hairdo. So she kind of taught us all how to. I've known Alicia for like 40 years. We started like the same time,
Mhm.
and we started in like Carbondale, and she used to paint like her skin was like almost just white, damn near pastel. So she would use that. Now this is back in the day, 40 years. We didn't have a lot of different makeup. And she would paint that black, those eyes all the way out. And she would paint them cheeks and them big red lips, and then she'd put on jet black hair. And so she was standing across the bar, me and Jody and a bunch of us, and I said, "Look at old Lily Munster," because she looked like a Lily Munster. She was painted real light and had that black hair, so that stuck. That Lily, we all of us that know her call her Lily, but
Lily.
Alicia's. Uh, I'm gonna tell you about Alicia. She um, is probably she will give you anything. She'll take all her clothes off and give them to you. She'll empty her purse out and give it to you. She'll give anything she's got for anybody, but
Mhm.
that gets her in trouble too.
Oh.
And and she's not good with like she's not a good business person. She's not never been Alicia. I always say Alicia should be a millionaire, living in a mansion, and bitch, she should be supporting us. We should be living at her house because she's that fucking talented that she could. She's the type that could be at the White House doing because she does drapes and recovers couches. She's brilliant, but she just hasn't never had the right person that's like told her where to go and do something. And
Right.
she needs like a manager, like somebody
Okay.
to because she tries, somebody else say, "Can you make me a gown?" Yeah, yeah, send me the money. Somebody else say, "Can you make me a gown?" Oh yeah, yeah, can you make, and then she gets behind, and so folks, that's why folks are reading her. But sometimes she's too nice for her own good. And I've told her 100 times, bitch, you got to save your money. Alicia lives for today. She's always
Oh.
lived for today. And she'll tell you, I might die tonight. I don't want to die with a bunch of money in my purse. So, bitch, she will spend every penny she's got.
Right. Really quick, tell us about your relationship with Jody Santana.
Again, we've known each other literally. Jody, all of us, we started together. We were kind of like the Rat Pack. She's the youngest one. I'm next in line, and then it was Brandy, and then it's either Alicia or Danielle. We always fought because Danielle Hunter will not tell you how old she is. She'll tell you she's like 32. Um, but
Mm.
Danielle's either 1 year older than Alicia. Alicia's 60. So Danielle's either gonna be 60, but Alicia always says Danielle's 61. She's 1 year older than her. So
Oh,
and she knew Danielle when Danielle was still married to her wife and in charge of the church. Because Danielle was like in the church and stuff.
okay.
That's I met them all together, like Danielle and Jody, and like Danielle and Jody were like rivals. We get behind Jody and help her, and then we get behind Danielle, but all of us were like, it was just like all of us, and and all of us lived in a camper. Me and
Oh,
Danielle, we lived in a camp. There was this gay guy that had this camper out in his yard, and he hooked it up, put some water in it, and we all just lived in it and did drag. We'd walk like a mile with our big bag, like look like Santa Claus, going to the bar to do drag every night. And Jody was there every night. Jody lived in a little trailer right by us. We all just lived in little trailers.
oh, wow. So
Just
you
about.
have some memories with a lot of good people.
Oh yeah.
So I have to ask you, are you done competing?
I've won everything I want to win. So if I don't win anything else, I feel like I wanted to be Miss Florida FI, but I feel like that ship has already went. I did it once. I got first runner. I don't feel like I do anything more than once. Do it
Right.
once. I would like to do Duval.
Come
I
on.
really would. I'm a little see, I've never done like that sportswear and stuff.
Oh, okay. You can do swimsuit.
Yeah, but now I'm at an age where I can't wear the heel like I want to wear.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
that's why swimsuit scares me because I can't wear a real tall heel.
Okay.
Um, but I would love to be. There's a few that I would love, but I mean, if I never win another pageant, I'm okay. I feel like I've
Okay.
done enough.
Yeah, I definitely feel like your resume is good. How do you feel about all of the honorary titles that go out as Miss Continental? What is your take on that? I know that was a big topic earlier this year. What's your take on that?
Girl. Okay. I feel like um, when someone is dead, they're dead. They're not here anymore. So you're not doing that for them. You might be doing it for you to make you feel better, but you're not doing it for them. They're gone.
Mhm.
So I just it's not my pageant. So you do what you want. I just don't feel I feel like people work and work and work hard to win those.
Mhm.
Like Raquel did that for years and years and years and years. So let's say she never would have won and then she died and he makes her an honorary. Well, what good is that? You know, people want to win. And I feel like you don't get that, when they put that crown on your head, that moment, that's a
Mhm.
moment.
Yes.
Um, I'm not really a fan of it.
Mhm.
If you want to do like an award or something, but I don't see why you need to do it. And then it seems like there's just more and more and more. When does it stop? So then you're going to have like 80 honorary.
Right.
I think you could do something else, like give them a little pin and make them a friend of Continental or fan. I don't know, but
Right.
like I said, it's Pepsi does what they want. They
Coke
might
does.
not want to do a cherry Pepsi. Coke
Right.
might want to do cherry Coke. They're going to do what they want. It's his business,
Mhm.
and he does what
Right.
he wants.
Gotcha. If you had to pick four entertainers to put on who you would think is the Mount Rushmore of drag, who would the four be?
Well, I would say definitely I would probably choose Tasha Long, Tommy Ross, um, Mimi Marks, and probably Layla LaRue.
Okay.
If I didn't
Good
put
list.
me up there for a big girl, it would be probably Layla LaRue.
That's a
Layla
good.
Layla does drag, and
Hmm.
Layla is mega talented. Like
Hmm.
she's a power. That's a powerhouse.
Right. I agree.
She
I
really is.
agree. Um. Now, newbies. When we talk about longevity, we talk about being in the game a long time. Who do you feel like maybe in 30 years will have longevity? Anyone that you may see that's up and coming that you like, and you're like, oh yeah, she's going to be here, or he's going to be here for a long time. Do you have about two or three that you could name?
Um, I think. Well, how new?
Anybody that's just not in your generation, we'll say that. Yeah.
Well, I don't feel like Giselle Barbie Royale's in my generation, so I would
Okay.
say her.
Okay.
There's a few people, like I've said before, it takes a lot to be Miss Continental and Miss USA and Entertainer of the Year, and it takes years and years to be all those titles and not that you need those titles, but like Giselle is one of those people that I feel like will pretty much do it all.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
Um her I feel like and I don't even know him, but I feel like that boy exotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He's going
feel
to
like
Continental this year.
Yeah, I feel like
Mhm.
he'll have longevity and he'll be around for a long time. I feel like he's one of those, he'll probably win all the boy things.
Okay.
Um, and like I said, I don't know him. I
Mhm.
just I kind of watch from afar.
Right.
Um, I'm trying to think any other new girls. I think that girl that's Miss USA newcomer, Taylor
Oh
Swift,
yeah. Yes. She's beautiful.
she is, and she's really sweet and really I think she might be will go. Tonica Cavalli.
Hmm.
I think she'll if she wants, I think she'll do a lot. Um, what other new girls do I know? She's older, but like Joan Julian.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Um, she's older than people think she is, but I think she could do a lot. Um, she's so talented. I mean, she's beautiful, but beauty only lasts so much,
So long. Right.
But she's talented. She's really talented.
Okay.
Um,
That's a very good list. Talk to us a little bit about really quick about when you had augmentation. What was the reasoning for you to go and get it? Was it just because you wanted to fit in clothes, or were you told to go do it?
I did the pageants, and
Mhm.
it seemed like at that time, we had Tandy Andrews, Candy Stratton, all these girls with the bodies. That's I would came, I started, 1989, all the 90s was when all the naked, the bodies, Cezanne was naked, and you had Mimi Marks and Monica Monroe, and all the girls were naked. It was a body. So um Danielle wanted to get silicone. Danielle and Jody, all of us, we were like, well, we got to do these pageants. We need to get boobs, and we need to get our hips done, and we need to get our face done. So Michelle Malden was doing the silicone. She's dead now. She's not here. But she was doing all the beauties. She was doing all the Continental girls. All the girls at the baton were done by Michelle. So we would drive to Michelle's house, all of us, and we would take all the money we had. Girl, we'd take $1,000. And back then you just said, well, put as much as you can in for 800 or whatever money we had, and we would lay on the kitchen table, and she took a little marker and she'd mark, and then she'd take those big huge needles and just stick them in. I tell people, did you watch Pose? Because that's my life. That Pose, they had it 100%. That ain't not a one thing in that Pose was made up. That was our
Mhm.
life. And so
Right.
they just shot it in, and then we went back. Oh, we want bigger boobs. We went back. And like I tell everybody, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman. They say there's this now, this, I don't even know what they call it. What am I supposed to be when you're non-binary
Non-binary, probably. Yeah,
or whatever
non-binary.
you are? Girl, I'm just a freak that's got titties. I mean, I live like this because it's just easier, because you can't, I got these big boobs. What am I going to do? Walk around in boy clothes? And
Right.
I have nails because I do drag and I carry
Right.
purse and stuff. It's just easier to live as a girl. But I don't feel like a girl. I don't feel like a man. I've never felt like a man. I never felt like a girl. I just feel like I'm just me. And
Right.
I did it all for the shows, for pageants, and got my hips, got my ass, got my, I got silicone everywhere, girl. I'm probably just like a walking billboard for cancer. I'm just full of it, girl. But what do you do? I mean,
Right.
I think it did help my career, because at that time, that's what everybody was doing, and we had to
Mhm.
do it. Now I'm trying to get the silicone in my chest taken out, because
Okay.
it's hard. It's like, girl, it's like stacks of doorknobs. I don't want to have. I don't need it. What do I can't really show them because they're not beautiful. So I just put a dress on and cover them every night anyway. So what would be the difference if I had a pad?
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to get that taken out, but that's a big rigmarole to go through. But yeah, I mean, we just did it. It was what we did, girl.
Over the last 40 years, what would do you feel in this industry was your biggest lesson that you had to learn?
That this is a job, and most people are not your friend.
Mm,
Sadly, but most of these hoes, and I ain't reading nobody, but most of these hoes, they don't like you. They put up with you.
that's a good word, Dina. That's good. Um, what would you say your children would say about you?
Um, Most of them would say that they learned a lot from me. My first child was Cassandra Cass. She lives in California. I don't know, a lot of people know her. She's been in movies. Um, she's absolutely beautiful. She did not start off that way. She was a little boy from Iowa that didn't know anything. She saw me, clinged on to me. I took her with me everywhere I went, including Chicago to the Baton. She everything she did on her own. I was really tough on her. She calls me mommy dearest, and
Mhm.
she said I was a bitch, but she turned out pretty good for me being a
Right.
bitch.
Right.
So she would say that I was a bitch, and most of them, my other kids would say they learned from me, they love me, and that I did a lot for them. And I have a lot of children that still do a lot of stuff for me today,
Good.
financially,
Mm.
um, and and monetary, and a lot of other things. So
No explanation, just one word that sums up your entire life.
journey.
A journal, okay? Never ending. What do you want, or what do you feel your legacy would be when you're gone?
I say all the time, my big thing is, and I every Monday I have a parade for somebody, but I have a parade for someone who's alive,
Mhm.
who is here, who can see that other people uh, writing about them, and that they've done this and they've done that. And if I could do anything, I wish people would do that more. I wish people would praise people and tell people how wonderful they are and
Mhm.
tell them they love them while they're here. Because once I know, once I'm gone, bitch, you don't have to say nothing about me. I don't know. I just end it, close the book, and I'm done. But I hope people will leave other people good comments and will praise people and will uplift. I just wish that our people, and I mean everybody, gay, Latin, black, white, trans, I don't care. I just wish that everyone would lift people up
Mhm.
instead of tearing people down,
Gotcha.
because we tear down more than we lift.
So before I ask the last question, you have been on 2 hours. Dina, this has been, and I will go on record and say, probably one of the most entertaining, greatest interviews that we've done in the last almost 2 years. So thank
Oh,
you for
thank
being
you.
your authentic self. You name drop. You weren't scared to say nothing, and we appreciate those type of conversations because they are your truth and they are what you dealt with. So all the things you went through from your beginnings to now, we appreciate you for coming on and being yourself. But is there anything that I didn't ask you that you may want to talk about? Any misconceptions? Anything that you want to put out there? Anything that you just want to share that I may not have asked? Because we know we can't get your entire life in an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours. So anything that you might want to talk about?
Um, the only thing that I and I'm going to say this for other people too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, judge people on what you know, because I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, well, I heard you were this or I heard you were that." But if you don't know me, it don't matter what you heard. You could have heard I'm Santa Claus, bitch. I ain't bringing you no gift. So get to know me and get to give me the chance. And a lot of people, I'm very like I guess I'm funny, but when I'm like out of drag or when I'm in a pageant stuff, I'm very quiet. Stay to myself until I open up. So I'm not one of those girls that, hey, I don't run up to girls and stuff. I'm very um quiet and I stay to myself. But I try to answer every message that I get. Um I try to treat people like I would like to be treated. And I love everybody, and like I said, I just wish everybody would be a little more uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we can all be a bitch and we can all
Mm-hmm.
be, but in the end, in the end, in the end, we're the only people that really like us.
Right.
Those other people, those straight people, those Republicans, those whatever, Democrats, whatever, they really don't care about you. So if we don't care about each other, girl, that's sad.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we need
glad. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad that you said the get to know you for you because, there was a topic that I was a little scared to ask you about. But I'm glad that you said it. Get to know you for yourself for that, no
yeah,
matter
because
what you might have heard.
and there's people that I say this all the time. There's people that you just you just don't blend with. Your
Mm-hmm.
aura
Yeah.
don't mix with their aura. It ain't because you're bad. It ain't because they're bad. You just don't mix. And
Right.
it's okay. It's okay for you not to feel me. I'm okay. Cause I probably don't feel you, bitch. And that's okay. That's okay. We can still get along and still, because I don't have time to fight with nobody. You want to read me and fight with
Mm,
me, girl? I got
right.
Netflix to watch. I'm busy. But
Listen.
like that one girl that you don't get along with, I had watched like one. She was trying to read you, and I don't even know who it was, but it was one of the big girls that does pageant stuff. And you all just don't, y'all just ain't gonna ever be friends, and that's
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
because we don't have to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
We have to respect each
Respect
other.
everybody. Yes. Well, thank you for that. So you kind of just answered the last question. We always ask our legends, leave us with a life nugget. It doesn't have to be about pageantry. It just be about life, something that we can enter in tomorrow morning with, that we can remember that you put into our minds to just go by daily with.
Uplift each other.
Okay.
Uplift each other. It only takes 20 seconds to write a little post about anybody in your life, somebody, it can be a new girl you saw at the
Mhm.
bar. Oh, I saw Miss Thing at the bar doing a show. She entertained me. Keep it up, girl, because you never know what people are going through.
Mhm.
I did those live, I do a lot of live videos and stuff. I want to leave you with this thing.
Mhm.
And someone had wrote me a message and said I was going to kill myself. And I got on Facebook. I was going to write my mother a letter because I knew she would be in bed asleep and then I was going to take these pills. And I got on and I started laughing at you and I laughed and laughed. And before I knew it, I was on there an hour and a half laughing at you. And I decided that life was worth living in that hour and a half because I could look at you and laugh. So they said, you never know. And again, you never know who you're affecting. You can send a
Right.
little message to somebody, write a little post to somebody. It only takes a second out of your day, but you do not know what effect you're going to have on somebody.
Amen.
So
That's beautiful.
I try to send a little message to someone. I try every day. You looked so good last night, girl. I saw your video. You da, da, da. I try to because that's uplifting to people. And
Mhm.
every Monday I take one person, a legend, and I try to uplift them.
Right. Because you all definitely deserve to be uplifted.
Yeah.
So where can we see you, Dina? Where are you? Where you work? What's going on with your give up? Tell us about that real quick.
My give up is in Dallas, Texas in November. It's the second week in November. It's going to be a really good time. I am planning on going to Miss USA at Large this year as a
Okay.
former. That's
Well,
in
I'll see you
October.
there.
That's October 6th, 7th, and 8th, I think, in
Okay.
Dallas, Texas. You can see me in Columbus, Ohio. I have my bingo every Monday. I have trivia at the Black Sheep, which is a new restaurant that's open every Tuesday. Every Wednesday, you can see me at Wigged Out Wednesdays at District. Every Friday and Saturday, I'll be at District for our cabaret shows. And every Sunday, I'll be at the Black Sheep for our Sunday evening dinner.
So let this be a lesson to y'all about having longevity because Ms. Dina has been in the game 40 years and still working almost every day.
And my body feels it. Granny's old, but I keep on pushing, baby.
Oh, I have one last question. Someone said, you are coined the gown girl. Who would you pass the torch to if you could? That's a good question. What person do you like that has beautiful gowns? That's a good question.
I will say this, and I've told this person this. Um, there's very few people like I wanted to be known as the big girl that has won every, and I've won every at large title. That I wanted to be Miss Renaissance at Plus. I wanted to be Miss Renaissance at Large because Chelsea and Desiree and Coco and all those Ivy White, all those Joray Saunders. The list went on, and I wanted my name with that list.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to do that and be part of that. And I said, there's one girl that I believe will do the same thing that I did. She will be the next one. I did it first, but she will do it. And that is Lindsay Page.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And I believe she's the gown diva.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
she would probably get the torch.
Shouts out to Lindsay Page. I love her. On her way to USA. So, Dina, thank you again for this 2 hours conversation. I have totally enjoyed you. Like I said, we've never met, but I definitely will be at USA at Large to get my hug from you. If
Yes.
there's anything that we can do on our platform, flyer to post, whatever you got going on, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We got you. You are part of the Let's Chat family now. We finally got you in. And so we appreciate you for giving us this time and being your true self. We
I had a
appreciate it.
great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we will see you all next week.
Bye, you
Bye
guys. Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.